I think a lot of people at closer ranges, when you talk about like CQB distance, right? So let's just use the USPSA metric target. They consider, oh, well, that's two alphas. I think you have to pay attention if you're at 3, 5, and 7 yards at where those alphas are. Like, how close are they together?
Well, I think the USPSA target doesn't do a very good job of measuring how accurate you can shoot that gun and how fast you can. And it also doesn't do a good job of punishing not understanding offset. Like the A zone is like 11 inches tall. So that just doesn't, if you don't understand offset, you don't get punished.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys will only focus on the upper part of the eight, like they cut it in half.
Right. That's one thing, but that's essentially then just not a USPSA target anymore.
No, I agree with you. And I think where you'll see it, what I've seen in training with LE guys, specific CQB, they do sims on paper. And even with sims, there's no recoil at all, right? So you would think that we should have rounds right on top of each other. And what you end up finding is guys shooting this really, really aggressive way because the recoil's gone, but still with no connection to the gun, no visual discipline, hitting photographic targets, like two-dimensional photographic shoot, no shoot targets that have very, very small scoreable zones, right? Because it's a miniature version of a person. You find the groups are just, you see, shots not a 5 outside of the scoreable zone, what you would want, on the representation of the body where you want the bullet to go, as well as off target misses and completely off paper misses at those distances.
Yeah, that's not real good.
And I think, no, it's not at all. But I think that's, you take that back to the live fire part and how people are shooting, right? Understand if you shoot a USPSA metric target or a VTAC target, which has the A zone, that zone is ridiculously big, right? From a training standpoint, when there's no pressure, there's nothing, just getting them into the A zone isn't enough. You have to pay attention to what kind of groups you're shooting within that A zone. You think, Chris, from the LE side, is that too heavy of an ask for cops?
For the accuracy part and in training doing CQB runs, no, it's not too heavy of an ask. The immediate effect it has on everything is everything gets much slower. So the speed and pace that guys want to hit houses and go through doors and everything's unlocked and the lights on, the overall tempo of the training, the movement is at light speed on sims when all you have to do is make noise on the paper. And if you say, hey, this is your target, if you hit anything outside of that, you're fired and you're fired from the team and you lose a month's pay. It's just going to slow everything in the house down because now the accuracy standard's there. So separating those two, does that even make sense? Like everything's going to slow down because it's all about like, I got to hit that thing right there. And then it's over confirmation and all the other pitfalls that go along with it, those all track along too.
No, I think I think over confirmation is a big thing. So you tie that in, right? We got to start somewhere. And I think it starts, if I want to shoot looser levels of confirmation with the same results, I have to have a very, very solid connection to the rifle and then an understanding of reacting to a lot less information in terms of aiming.
But they got to be able to do it on the range first, let alone the house. I don't know why, like I think you said it before, why we separate those two things makes no sense. All you did was, now there's a wall here, and the one you just did it before outside on the range had a barrel. There's no difference in you stepping around and being good on that target and then coming in the house and being sloppy. What's the excuse? Why does it happen? So why does that happen in training? Why do we separate marksmanship, accuracy, and speed in the house? Where does it go out the window?
Yeah, I think it's because of the primary CQB training for law enforcement is sims. Is sims guns on paper. Like, I did not see that from the military side when all of our CQB, at the unit was all live fire. Right? It was all 70 grain rounds, photographic targets, the pace. It had to be the pace you shoot on the range. That's what you bring into the house. That's what the country asks of you. everybody's asking of you in terms of performance is to be this high performance shooter, and then just applying that very high performance shooting to different situations. But it's the approach to training, right? Where the range is real shooting, and then you go to CQB, guys are just playing paintball in there.
I think some of that goes into those positional things we see with the rifle, where you can look right over the top of the gun that's canted sideways. You could look right over it and watch the paint rounds go where you want them to go. So maybe that's part, not, I don't like training scars, but maybe that's a little bit of where it comes from. I can look over this and hit my lamp, pop, 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 pop. And you see it when they have GoPros in the corner. The guys are not actually aiming. They're looking right over the top of the gun.
I will tell you, there's times in a shoot house when the lighting conditions are right, where you're shooting 70 grain rounds, where you can see them going from your barrel to the target.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think from the sim standpoint, I think you've got to be way more disciplined in how they conduct that type of training. I mean, that's a whole nother discussion outside of just being connected to the gun.